The lunch hour at Harlan and Company. Bistro felt like a storm shoved inside four walls. Somewhere between the sound of clinking plates, rushed orders, and buzzing conversations, Zara Malik stood frozen, her hand wrapped around the tiny fingers of her 5-year-old son, Ian. Her eyes scanned the crowded room anxiously. People in suits, people laughing, people who had time, money, and choices. She had none. Ami. Ian tugged her hand. My tummy is making noises. I know, Beta, she whispered. We'll sit soon. But, soon, was starting to feel like a lie. She had exactly 30 minutes before she had to be back at Ridge Tech Enterprises, the job she had fought desperately to get. A front desk job, minimum pay, exhausting hours, but still a job. Still something. Her ex-husband had left 2 years ago and never looked back, never called, never sent even a single rupee for the child he once claimed to love. Since then, life had been a juggling act on a wire made of fear. Today was just another performance. Finally, after what felt like forever, she saw it. A table in the corner. One empty chair. One man sitting there alone. He wasn't eating, just staring at something on his tablet, his expensive suit unmistakable even from a distance. A presence that made people shift out of his way without realizing why. Ian perked up. Ami, there's a chair. Yes, she breathed. Let's go. Her heart pounded as they approached. She hated asking strangers for help. She hated the way people sometimes looked at her, like she didn't belong in their space. But hunger doesn't care about pride. Excuse me, Zara said gently. The man lifted his head slowly. His eyes were gray, cool, sharp, unreadable. Eyes that saw too much and revealed too little. She straightened her shoulders. Can I share this table? Just until we finish lunch. There was a pause. A long, heavy pause. The kind that makes your stomach twist. Then he said, in a voice deep enough to settle the air around him. Only if I pay the bill. Zara blinked. Sorry, you can sit. On one condition, the man repeated. I'm paying. She stared at him, confused. Why would he? Sir, that's not nice. It is, he said simply, turning back to his tablet. Sit. Ian was already climbing onto the chair, desperate for food. Zara hesitated. When strange men offer kindness, the world teaches women to fear the strings being pulled. But one look at Ian's tired face and her heart squeezed. Thank you, she whispered. They sat. A waiter rushed over, relieved she wasn't blocking the aisle anymore. What can I get for you? A sandwich and a juice, Zara said quickly. And water. Ian's hungry eyes lingered on the children's menu, where fries and nuggets and ice cream lived, but he stayed quiet. Zara's chest tightened. He had learned too early not to ask for things. Before she could hand back the menu, the man closed his tablet. Order what he wants, he said, nodding at Ian. Zara stiffened. No, we're fine. We don't need more. I didn't ask if you needed it, he said calmly. I said order it. Her breath caught. What kind of man talked like that? Really, sir? Zara. His voice softened, surprising her. Let him eat. Her heart skipped. He knew her name. How? He raised an eyebrow. Your Ridge Tech badge is clipped to your bag. She looked down, startled, and embarrassed. Oh, yes. Sorry. I didn't mean to bother. You're not bothering me. He said it so simply that she had no room left to argue. So she nodded at the waiter. One kid's meal too, please. Ian's grin lit up the entire corner of the room. The man leaned back slightly, studying her. Single mom? He asked bluntly. Zara stiffened. The question felt too sharp. Is that a problem? No, he said. Just an observation. She narrowed her eyes. Why ask? Because you look like you're trying to carry the world with one hand. Her breath hitched. She wasn't used to strangers reading her so easily. Before she could respond, Ian piped up. Mister, your watch is shiny. The man looked at him with an expression Zara couldn't read. It's an old watch. Zara shook her head. I'm so sorry. He just talks. He should. The man interrupted. Children talk because adults don't listen. He sipped his coffee, untouched until now. The waiter returned with food. Ian dug in immediately, delighted beyond words. Zara watched him silently, her whole world sitting right there, smiling for the first time today. When she looked up, the man was watching her. Do you ever take a break? He asked. She blinked. What? You look like someone who hasn't rested in years. She laughed weakly. Maybe because I haven't. He didn't smile. He didn't pity her either. He just understood. Something about his gaze made her heart beat differently, fast, nervous, aware. Still, she kept her tone polite. What do you do, sir? If you don't mind me asking. Ethan, he corrected, his voice wrapped around the name like a quiet command. I'm Ethan. Her blood froze. Her throat tightened, because suddenly the pieces clicked. Ethan Harlan, the billionaire founder, the CEO of Ridge Tech, her boss's boss's boss. She nearly dropped her glass. You're the CEO. Yes. Oh my God, she whispered, horrified. Sir, I didn't know. I wouldn't have. I didn't mean to impose. You didn't, he said calmly. You just asked for a chair. Not a job promotion. Her cheeks burned with embarrassment. She had just shared a table with the most powerful man she had ever met. And he had bought her lunch. She wanted to disappear. Ethan watched her panic with unsettling patience. You're new at Ridge Tech, he said. Front desk, right? She nodded stiffly. Yes, sir. And you didn't recognize me? No, sir. Good. She frowned. Good. I get tired of people pretending they're not scared of me. She swallowed hard. I'm not scared. He gave her a look. Not yet, he teased lightly. Her heartbeat jumped. Then Ian tugged her sleeve again. Ami, can we say thank you to Mr. Ethan for the food? Zara smiled awkwardly. Yes, of course. Thank him. Ian beamed. Thank you, Mr. Ethan. For the first time, Ethan softened. A real smile, small, rare, but genuine, touched his face. You're welcome. Zara's breath caught. Smiles should not look that good on a man like him. But then Ethan's phone buzzed. The moment shattered. He stood quickly, checking the screen. I have to go. Zara scrambled to her feet. Please, sir, at least let me pay part of the bill. No. His tone was final, but gentle. You can repay me by eating properly. She froze. But why help me? She whispered. Ethan paused. The answer tugged from a place he usually kept locked. Because someone once helped me when I didn't want it, he said. And it saved my life. Before she could say a word, he slipped on his coat. At the doorway, he turned back one last time. And Zara, he said quietly. Next time, don't hesitate. Her chest tightened. Next time. Then he was gone, leaving her standing there, holding her son's hand, heart racing for reasons she didn't dare examine. Zara spent the entire night replaying yesterday's lunch in her mind. Ethan's calm voice, his piercing gaze, the strange warmth she felt when he spoke to Ian, and the way he said, next time, like it was a promise. She had no business thinking about him. He was a billionaire CEO. She was a single mom living in a one-bedroom apartment with peeling paint and a stubborn ceiling fan. Their worlds were not just different, they were galaxies apart. Still, the memory clung to her like perfume. The next morning, she wore her neatest outfit, a simple black dress, a clean navy blue hijab, and a cardigan that did nothing to hide how nervous she felt. She wasn't dressing to impress him. She told herself that 3 times. Maybe 4. Ian was half asleep as she dropped him at the small daycare center near her building. Be good, she whispered, kissing his forehead. Ami, I'm always good, he mumbled, hugging her leg before running inside. Her heart squeezed with guilt. She hated leaving him, but she had to work. She had to survive. Ridge Tech headquarters greeted her with its usual morning rush, heels clicking, suits swishing, phones ringing. Zara slipped behind her front desk, hoping the day would pass quietly. But fate had other plans. At 9:17 a.m., a shadow fell across her desk. Zara. Her spine snapped straight. Ethan stood there, tall, immaculate, gray eyes more intense than she remembered. Good morning, sir. Ethan. He raised a hand, stopping her stuttering before it killed her. Come with me. Her stomach dropped. Was she being fired, transferred, questioned? But she followed. Everyone stared as she walked behind him, some curious, some jealous, some whispering already. Zara kept her eyes glued to the floor, heart racing so hard it hurt. They reached the elevator. He pressed the top floor button, the CEO's floor. Her breath caught. Sir, Am I in trouble? His lips twitched. If you were, Zara, I wouldn't take you somewhere with windows. She blinked. Was he joking? The elevator doors opened to a world entirely different from the busy floors below. Quiet carpets, sunlight pouring through glass walls, and an office big enough to hold her entire apartment twice. Ethan closed the door behind her. Relax, he said, sensing her fear. You're not losing your job. She sagged into the chair as relief washed through her. Thank God, but I do need to talk to you. Sit. She did. Ethan leaned against his desk, arms crossed, gaze sharp. I want to ask you something personal. Her heart stilled. My education, she guessed. He nodded. What were your plans before life happened? Zara looked down at her hands. No one asked her this. Not even her parents. Not even her ex-husband. I wanted to study software engineering. I wanted to build apps, things that make life easier. But after Ian was born, and then the divorce, I had to work instead. Ethan studied her like she was a riddle he wanted to solve. You're smart, he said. More than you let people see. She froze. No one had ever said that to her. Zara, he continued, you belong more in a tech team than at a front desk. Her eyes widened. Sir, I'm offering you a scholarship, he said simply. Full tuition, flexible hours, daycare for Ian, and when you graduate, you'll join my development team. She stared at him. She couldn't breathe. Why? She whispered. Why would you do this for me? Ethan stood quietly for a moment, breathing in deeply. Then he spoke softly. Because you remind me of someone I failed. Her heartbeat thudded painfully. Who? He didn't answer immediately. His jaw flexed, his voice strained. My mother, he said finally. She was brilliant, wanted to study computer science, wanted to work, but she married young, had no support, and life crushed her dreams. Zara's lips parted. I watched her fade, Ethan whispered. And I couldn't save her. But I can help you. If you let me. Her eyes filled with tears she quickly wiped away. I don't like taking help I can't repay. You already have. How? He stepped closer. Close enough that she felt the warmth of him. You treat me like a human, he said. Not a billionaire. Not a headline. Not a monster. People don't look at me. They look at my money. His voice cracked slightly. But you looked at me like a man who was blocking your seat. A laugh escaped her despite everything. And that, he said, was refreshing. Silence. Thick, heavy, intimate. Then, have lunch with me today. Her heart lunged. As co-workers, as people, he said softly. Zara swallowed. Okay. Lunch wasn't in the busy bistro this time. Ethan had reserved an entire quiet restaurant room. Soft music, warm lights, and no audience. Zara protested the extravagance. This is too much. It's quiet, he said. You deserve quiet. She didn't know how to argue with that. They sat across from each other, menus forgotten. Are you always this serious? She asked hesitantly. He raised an eyebrow. Serious? You look like smiling is illegal for you. And to her shock, he actually smiled. Only illegal in public. Their food arrived, but talking came more naturally than eating. What would you build? Ethan asked, if you were an engineer. Zara's eyes lit up. The kind of light he hadn't seen in years. A scheduling app for single parents, she said. Something simple. Something that reminds you of bills, school events, medical appointments, something that carries the mental load so parents can breathe. Ethan stared at her. You think like a leader, he said. No, she laughed softly. I think like a mother. Same thing. His words struck her heart like a warm, unexpected wave. Halfway through the meal, Zara looked at him, curious. Why did you really sit alone yesterday? You looked lonely. Ethan froze. She had hit something raw. He set down his fork slowly. Because people want something from me. Investors, employees, family, everyone wants something. No one sits with me just to sit. Her voice softened. I didn't want anything. I know, he whispered. Then he surprised even himself by adding. I sat alone because I forgot what normal felt like. Zara didn't know what possessed her. Maybe empathy. Maybe instinct. Maybe something more dangerous. She placed her hand on the table, just an inch from his. Not touching. Just there. Close enough to say I see you. Far enough to say I'm not crossing a line. Ethan looked at her hand. Then at her. Something unspoken passed between them. Something fragile. Something real. He cleared his throat, trying to steady himself. I want you to work directly under me, he said suddenly. Her eyes flew open. Sir, Ethan, people will talk. Let them, he said. The world talks anyway, but I don't want special treatment. You're not getting special treatment, he said firmly. You're getting the opportunity you deserve. Their eyes locked, and in that moment, both of them knew. This was no longer just a chance encounter at a crowded restaurant. This was the beginning of something impossible. Something dangerous. Something that neither of them could walk away from now. Not anymore.